Hey, Ironman, Florida, wannabes, hopefuls, past finishers, alumni, doing this race and watching this video. Welcome. We're going to talk about Ironman, Florida. We're going to talk about the transition area, just how it's set up and how they're doing it for Ironman, Florida, because each race has its little nuances about transitions and how they handle it. Different races are point-to-point starts, or different transition areas for T1, T2, finish line, different area than the transition area. So I'm going to go over this and kind of line it out specifically for Ironman Florida. And if you don't believe me, you can go check on the maps and I'll show you how. So Ironman Florida, you go to their main website here. You go through here, and what I like to do is I hit the course, and I like to look at the swim map to see where T1 is and where the start for the finish is. So this race, specifically Ironman Florida, there is no need for shuttles or anything. You're going to be walking down to the swim start. Notice it's a little bit of a walk, maybe half a mile at most or something like that. So it's nothing crazy or whatever, but you do need to budget a little bit of time. When you get in the morning, check your bag, and check your bags for T1, T2, because you're going to be able to access both there. When you get in there and check your bags, check your bike, all this other stuff, and get everything prepped. And when you're done and ready to go, you can take morning clothes bag with you and walk to the start line. So give yourself a little bit of time to get from transition to the start and get seated appropriately in the swim start. So that is, I think, the main key for transition, especially at the start. Like I said, you'll have access to everything. T1, T2 bag. You'll have access to your bike to put all your nutrition, all your stuff on there. And then you have your morning bag to take with you to go to the start area. And you go down to the beach and you hang out and you swim or seat yourself appropriately according to your swim times. So nothing crazy on that one. So the bike. So you go out, you hit the start area. So this right here is our transition area. So you start from there and you do your 112 miles and you come back in the same exact place. So T1 and T2 are going to be in the same spot. So basically, you come in, you leave, and you come in. The exits and entrances are going to be different in the transition area, but the transition area is the same. Especially in pandemic times, you'll be racking your own bike, so be ready for that. In the past, they might have like bike wranglers or something you can hand it off to, but I think 2017, 2018, when I've done this race, I believe that I had to rack my own bike. So it's not the end of the world. You just run in, you put it, you should know where your rack spot is. It's done by numbers. Come in, rack your bike, and go get your stuff and change for the run portion. So nothing crazy there. Nothing that just really screams out, this is an important key factor. You'll have access, like I said. Make sure you know if some races have been doing your transition backs by your back rack spot, which is atypical for a full Ironman race. Usually the bags are laid out in a certain area and you run by and grab it. But this year, the pandemic, they're not doing as many changing tents and that type of thing. So sometimes the bags have been at your actual rack station, but everything needs to be in the bag. So whatever, when you come out of the swim, whatever you have on the swim needs to go back in the bag you took everything out of your bike for. So you take everything out for your bike, get all ready, and then you put everything back in the bag because they don't want all the stuff spewed out everywhere. Or if you have to put your bag someplace else, they want to make sure that all your swim stuff is in there. So the same with T1. When you get there, you want to take all your run stuff out of the T2 bag, all the stuff you need, and everything that your helmet, your bike shoes, and all the other stuff that you don't want on the run, you have to put it back in your T2 bag. So, like I said, this is going to be a little bit different. It should be a learning experience for 2021 where I'm doing it. This year is it going to be at the transition area for my full Ironman Tulsa. The transition T2 and T1 were separate, but the bags are right there at the rack. So basically, we did our stuff right there at the bike, whereas before we'd have changing tents. So they may have changing tents, or they may situate us right there at our rack. So stay tuned on that one. So just be ready. Just make sure when you get there and you do your checking, your bag drop off, you know where they're going, and you kind of know the game plan. If you have any questions, ask the volunteers. More often than not, there's a dude with a cowboy hat running around transition. He is the transition wrangler. Ask him. He knows the answer to all questions. So I definitely, Glenn, he is the man. He knows everything about these races. He goes to all of them. So that is going to be your T2. And then coming out of the run, I always like to look at the run. Notice it's two loops on basically a straight out and back along the shoreline. Notice the transition area and finish line are right next to each other. So this is kind of nice in the fact of once you're done with the race, all you got to do is walk over to transition and get all your junk. So once you get out on the run, like I said, make sure when you get to T2, Take all your run stuff out of the bag that you're going to use, and then start putting your bike stuff back in that bag. So shoes, helmet, and whatever nutrition or whatever you're not going to take with you. At the end, when you leave transition and on your run, none of your junk should be sitting out of a bag. It should all be in one of your transition bags. Otherwise, you might not get a bag. So make sure you're aware of that. But basically, it's nice. You don't need a shuttle or a long walk to get back to transition and get all your stuff. At the end of the day, more than likely they will have all your stuff minus your special needs bags. They will not bring back your special needs bags. So if you didn't pick it up or you left stuff in there, it's gone. They're going to throw them away. They're not going to bring them back. So in transition area, I would assume for 2021, I'll maybe do an update video. Your T1 bag, your T2 bag, and your morning clothes bag should be kind of put either beside your bike or in a corral area all tied together, so you can just give them your bib number and then they'll get your stuff. So that's kind of nice. Florida is nice in that regard. It's one transition area and the finish line is right by transition area. Go get your crud. As soon as you're done with a race, get your food, relax, hang out with the family, spectators, Sherpas, and then head back. Should be pretty straightforward and simple. So hopefully it is. Like I said, I may do an update after this. This is the first year I'll be doing this, and this kind of new setup for 2020. They had this set up, but this was like pandemic, height of the pandemic, and social separation, social distancing, mask, a whole 9 yards was going on. So it's probably going to be a little bit different. They've been introducing a few new things back, some smaller changing tents, a little bit more social interaction as far as mixing people in transition and stuff has been less of a problem. So pay attention. If you do this event and you had anything to add, or if you've done it in 2020, you're like, oh no, that's totally different, put them in the comments. Give a like. If you're seeing on YouTube, give a like, subscribe, hit the notification button for future videos and stuff like that. So hopefully this helps you out. And with that, happy training. Good luck on race day. And I will see you at the finish line in 2021. Talk to you later.